good morning.
Good morning.
Good morning.
I heard that it's going to be 100 degrees today. Of course, we don't have tornadoes, we don't have floods, we don't have snow, so. I just want to say for a brief moment, today is Memorial Day. It is a federal holiday in the United States for remembering and honoring persons who have died while serving the United States Armed Forces. So I would like to take just a moment to honor those lives in the selfless service of our country. Amen. Well, today we're going to talk about healing. How many of us say the healing prayer every Sunday when we come, but we don't really think about the words that we're saying? So, today we're going to go over the first part of the healing prayer. You'll have to stay tuned for the second part. I ask the great unseen healing force to remove all obstructions from my mind and body, and to restore me to perfect health. I ask this in all sincerity and honesty, and I will do my part. So let's break this down a little bit. The first part says, I ask the great unseen healing force. So what does that mean? We know that all healing comes from God. And you know that in order to G-E-T, you have to A-S-K. Right? So when we're asking this emanating force that is in each and every one of you, that divine spark of God. Because that is who we truly are. Yes, we do shed this physical body. And that is when we recognize in the spirit world each and every one as an energy field, as a vibration. And this God that we talk about, this infinite intelligence, permeates everything, every being, every soul on this earth. So once we've asked this great unseen healing force, the next part is to remove all obstructions from my mind and body. Now I know mind comes first and then body comes second, but we're going to talk about body first. Because all of us have some type of obstructions in our body, do we not? I don't think everyone is completely perfect and whole, which is what we are actually asking in our spiritual prayer. We all have challenges. That's why we're here. But you were given this physical body to move through this earth plane as a tool. Are you taking care of your physical body? Because each and every one of you knows what you need to do. You know when you pick up that slice of cake, well, this probably isn't the best thing for me. But there's more to taking care of our body than just what goes in our mouth. Although you have heard that saying, you are what you eat, right? But there's also other things we put into our body. Now, yes, I'm a nurse, so I'm not going to talk about medicine because those are prescribed by a physician and you need those. But I am going to talk about the other things. Alcohol, cigarettes, drugs that are not prescription drugs. All of those have an effect. Even prescription drugs have an effect on our physical body, do they not? They do. Because every drug that you read, you even see them on TV, and you get 16 different side effects for that. But when you stand in the perfection that you are, which is that divine spirit inside of you, healing of your body can and does take place. Now, we also do have to move the body. That's why we were given 2 legs, so that we can propel forward, even though sometimes you don't want to. It's what we were meant to do. Get that blood flowing. You get that circulation. Perfect time to meditate. You can do a walking meditation. Get in touch with that inner part of you, that part of God. Have any of you read any of Harry Edwards' books? Fabulous reading. Harry Edwards talks about the healing intelligence within each and every cell of our body. Because our bodies do have the ability to heal themselves. And I know that there are people here in this congregation who have utilized that power and have obtained magnificent healing. If you think about it, when you cut your hand, what happens? You bleed. And that's your blood. That's life force leaking out of you. So the body goes, hey, everybody, come here, help, help, help. So you get platelets to form a clot so that heals over. Right? Think about some of the surgeries that we do. We put foreign objects in our body. And we say, hey, use this. Heal around this. You know, like I said, I'm a nurse, and when I go to people's homes, it still to this day amazes me how people can have hip replacements and knee replacements, and the body just goes, oh, okay. At first, yes, there's an inflammatory response. I'm not going to get too technical for you. But there is an inflammatory response, and the body's like, hey, this is a foreign body. Let's fix this. Let's fix this. But then as we begin to exercise and incorporate that foreign body into our being, our body begins to heal around that. It's fascinating. It's just fascinating. And it is fascinating about transplanting organs also, because that is coming from a different human being. And our bodies adapt to that along with medication. What about when you get the flu or a cold virus and you're so miserable and you're thinking, I've got to go to the doctor, I just got to go to the doctor and get something to help me. And then you go to the doctor, and what does he say? Well, we're not going to give you an antibiotic because it's just a virus. Bacteria need antibiotics. Viruses will just heal on their own. So if you think about how healing takes place in our body, it's remarkable. And we do eventually get over it, right? We do move on. Our bodies are remarkable. And we can tap into that power. The next section I want to talk to you is about our minds. Because body and mind are very closely connected. I know you've all heard of studies where a hospital has had a group of people pray for people who had open heart surgery, and then they weren't praying for the other group. Guess which ones got better quicker? Because we know and we teach as spiritualists that thoughts are things. They go out. Whether you want them to or not. Let me say that again. Whether you want them to or not, they go out. And they reach other people. So when we're talking about our mind, just think what you think all day long. You know, the human mind thinks 10,000 thoughts per day. That's a lot of thoughts. How many of those are positive? How many of them are doubts you have about yourself? How many of them are programming that you're running over and over in your brain? Those are obstructions. You see, thought causes emotion. And when an emotion comes up, it's the ability for you to look at and see if you need to work in that area. Many of you know I'm from Ocala. And I drive down here. And sometimes I get really frustrated with the drivers. I'll admit it, I'm human. And then I think, go, go, go. But who's that really about? It's about me and how I'm perceiving what's going on. I'm perceiving them going slow, are I not? Because to them, they think they're doing fine. So that's an obstruction. We get these frequently. I heard of a gentleman who, his wife was standing at the kitchen sink and she was doing dishes or she was rinsing something off. And she looked out in their yard and their 2-year-old daughter is out there and there's a snake. And she stood there in fear, looking. She couldn't move. She could not move. And her husband came from the other room and he's like, what's the matter? And she's like, she couldn't even speak. She pointed. And he looked outside and he said, she's in bliss. She doesn't know. She's not afraid of snakes. Let her be. I understand it wasn't a poisonous snake, for those of you who are wondering. And the snake slithered off. And that woman in that second, that mother, recognized that she was putting her perceptions, her opinions on someone else. Now, do you think that's an obstruction? Because we interpret everything in our lives according to our experiences, according to the things we've said to ourselves about those experiences. Sometimes when something happens when we're younger, we tend to personalize that. We say, see, I'm not good enough. Or see, I'm not smart enough. And then you carry that with you, so that when a wonderful opportunity comes up for you to learn and grow, there's that little distraction clicking over. And we let our emotions run amok. And we let that destroy us. But we don't have to. Because who thinks in our mind? We do. We are the people who process every experience in our lives. And sometimes we label them as good or bad. Now, I'm guessing probably not everybody here has had an absolutely silver spoon life, everything handed to you on a platter. But you've learned and you've grown from your experiences. And what you thought was bad helped you get here, helped you grow, helped you understand. How many times have you prayed for something and not gotten it? And then you find out later, thank God. Right? But as soon as you touch in with that and look at things as in a different perspective, a different perception, when your emotions come up, that's the time for you to say, hey, wait a minute. Do I need to let go of this? Is this something I need to clear? Because the brain is a remarkable thing. It'll take the pathway of least resistance. Those little neurons have formed little pathways, and when something happens to you, and it's a trigger, and it hits that pathway, where do you think that thought goes? Well, see, this is what happened before. See, it's never going to be any different. So when you're talking about your mind and body and healing, you've got to form new pathways. Things are not always as they seem. Things rarely are as they're seen. Why do I say that? Because you put your interpretation on it. That may not be what's happening at all. Now I've tried to look at when people zoom past me on the interstate, I think, wow, maybe they're going to the hospital. Maybe they have a loved one who's sick. Because I flipped that little switch because I want to get rid of all those misperceptions, all those obstructions in my mind and in my body. Because don't you think your brain isn't listening? And if you think a negative thought long enough, what are you going to draw to you? Negative. That's your responsibility. And having said that, the last part, and I will do my part. And what a difference that makes. That's usually where we fall short. We say a prayer, we say, okay, do me. But it's not all the responsibility outside of you, is it? You have to do your part. You have to do your part for your physical body. If you're exhausted and you can't move and you can't take another step and you still push yourself forward, are you helping your body? On the flip side of that, there are times when you must push forward. And that is when you ask for Spirit's help. Remember, I ask the great unseen healing force. There are times when you have to move on. You have to keep going. But those times when your favorite show is on TV, but you know you should go to bed. It is your part. Take care of yourself. When you're sick, go to a doctor. They're really not bad people. Work on your stuff. Work on removing those obstructions. The easiest way to do it is through meditation, because why? When we're in meditation, we shut all of this out. And we go inside to that divine spark of Spirit that is in each one of us. Remember, you ask for help. I ask the great unseen healing force. Now, when you start on your spiritual journey, it's all peaches and cream, right? No, you get challenges because that's where you need to work. This is a place where you have those tools to work and release those things. Thank God. Because sometimes we can see it quicker in the physical, right? When you ask for that spiritual help, Spirit will always be there. Will it be easy? Not always. But I'm going to tell you, the more you do it, the easier it gets. And just think about, when you're doing your part, you're releasing all of this stuff. When we get to this age, and we ask about our spiritual path, we know that we take the spiritual part of us when we go to the spirit world. This body, gone. Doesn't mean you can't take care of it, though. Because it is your vehicle. You get your oil changed, you do that stuff. But when we go to the spirit world, we take the growth that we have done here with us. and releasing those obstructions and those perceptions and those experiences that no longer serve us, we get to take that with us. And we become lighter, and we feel lighter. Sometimes we need to go through forgiveness exercises because we have somebody in our mind who we just can't let go of. There's still an anger. There's still a hurt by that person. That's an obstruction. It's not easy. Will we be perfect? Probably not perfect. But the more we do it, the easier it gets. So as you're going through the healing prayer, think about what you're saying. Focus your thoughts, focus your mind on healing. Each and every one of us needs healing, whether it's physical, mental, spiritual, or emotional. Everybody on earth needs healing. Everybody. And the law of attraction and the law of vibration, when you help yourself, don't you think that goes out? Can't other people feel that? You've walked in and just known somebody and you just feel like, wow, they're such a spiritual person. And you feel that. I will bet you 99% that person has worked on themselves. Because you have to get rid of all that garbage in there. So I challenge you, when you say the healing prayer, take it in, mean it. Ask Spirit for help. They're here to help you. They're not going to do it for you. And if you say, well, I'm really good, I don't need anything, then ask Spirit for help, because there's always way for improvement, right? So make sure that you are sincere and open to the healing that infinite intelligence can give to you. God bless you.